First Dibbs question of the day, sponsored by Trantolo and Trantolo. That's right. If you get injured any way, shape, or form, personally, then call the Trantolo office at 844-999-9999. Hartford, Waterbury, Bridgeport, New Haven, and Torrington. They're going to give you the best help. All right. Because of the sounder, 50 Cent was doing the siren last night before the Vegas Panthers game. Kurt and I were thinking about this. What's the best pregame sounder or leading into a game? Could be a mascot type thing. We'll kind of throw it all together. But just, from your experience in the minor leagues and college and stuff like that, who's got one of the best sound things that pumps up the crowd?
I want to know from Kurt. I mean, you're the NHL guy. Does that Vegas horn, does that speak to you?
Not really, because Carolina has the same thing. And they're a not really traditional place either. Florida's got the drum, which is just the drum.
Yeah. So for me, my mind immediately goes to college athletics. I think that, especially when you talk pregame and, obviously, I mean, the pageantry of college sports is so much greater than in the pros. And that's not to say that you don't, you get to the World Series and crowds aren't going nuts. But for college sports, it's students that turn into alums that turn into, it's just generational, and there's just the traditions that build. So I'm going to put out a PSA and say that the best environment of any game I have ever broadcasted, in 2015, I was color commentator men's basketball on radio for Holy Cross. They had a midweek random non-conference game at University of Kansas. Fog Allen Fieldhouse, UConn men's basketball is playing there this year. If you are on the fence, if you are thinking, maybe I should fly into Kansas City and make that 45-minute drive to Lawrence, do it. I'm going. My parents, my wife, my brother were making the trip. I went. That place is as close to a religious experience in sports that I have ever been a part of. It was incredible to be there. Anything that you've heard or seen, the Rock Chalk Jayhawk, I know that doesn't quite answer the pregame type question.
No, it does, because if you get, all right, like Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Does
jump around.
The jump around.
Yeah.
And the entire stadium literally is jumping around.
And it registers on the Richter scale.
It's insane.
Yeah.
That is what we're talking about here. I mean, what is the best way to hype up a crowd? Yes, there's hype music. There's hype mascots. I even thought before I actually, more so than the siren, the lighted drums.
Drum line is cool.
The drum line is amazing. Unique. I mean, just everything. It's unique.
What about USC? The Trojan comes out and does stuff like that.
Dude on the horse. Yeah. Even the same thing in Florida State. I mean, the Bevo, the bovine from Texas. That Longhorn is insane. I mean, I like the Buffalo from Colorado.
Enter Sandman for Virginia Tech football. I mean, and that's, again, we're talking a lot of college football here. That's what this is coming back to. It's 100,000 people.
West Point, don't they shoot cannons off?
Yep.
Okay,
yep,
so a howitzer going off probably is pretty cool.
Yep, parachuters coming in, at least both games that we back-to-back years. UConn was at Army, both games. That was part of the pregame tradition.
Now, don't they have tanks and things like that parked all over the place?
Yeah.
Just people say that just around West Point's stadium, it's a sight to see.
Right. And what is it? Sing last when it's the Army-Navy game at the end of the year. The team that wins sings their alma mater second, so that's what they want to do. It's always, we want to sing last. And so being able to watch, if you're Army, watch Navy sing their alma mater, and then you come over the top second, and you get to sing yours because you won the Army-Navy game.
What about Raiders? They got that weird thing in the new stadium once they moved to Vegas. They've got that big light that comes up. It's
I'm down.
It's artificial light. It's
right. But you also have, who is the other guy that's got the light? Is it the Phoenix Suns guy? Or where is that?
Sacramento.
That guy's got some kind of beam after the game beam of light.
Yeah, so he can see that
that's
he
still
won.
Awesome.
I like that.
It's like the bat signal.
Absolutely.
I mean, for me, like you were bringing up the military. So when you played day games in San Diego, and now they always wear the camo shirts, but you're talking like late '80s, early '90s when that wasn't it was very special to see like a major league team. It wasn't Armed Forces thing. It wasn't 4th of July. It was like every time we happen to have a day game or a weekend game during the day, they would have, because you have the Marines that are guarding the base out there, Camp Pendleton, and you also have Miramar, and you've got the Air Force and stuff. They would have like probably 300 to 500 troops on one side in their Marine camo or one of their favorite like dress whatever. The Marines have the most gorgeous dress blues.
Yep.
And then the Navy, and my brother was in the Navy, and they've got their dress whites. And so they're on both ends of the stadium at a Padres game. And granted, the Padres is probably one of the coolest, most laid-back stadiums. Jack Murphy was awesome. They were the first stadium to have like sushi. So to have like the military presence, and then so they would constantly during the game have different things that they were yelling. And as a player, right even now it gives me goosebumps. Because it was like, that's not normal. And it's whenever you can do something like Kurt hit it, unique to your stadium, the Padres are one of the first ones that I can remember as a major league franchise that honored the troops. Now, when I work for the Nationals, seventh inning stretch, any military in the building, they have you stand up and they get a standing ovation. So that's the kind of stuff, appreciation to me is also one of my favorite things about sports.
Yeah, and I guess, the dichotomy of that in San Diego where that's happening, and then you've got palm trees, like you said, sushi, you've got palm trees in the stadium, if that's Qualcomm Stadium, was that where you were playing? So, yeah, it's just a very interesting split dynamic there.
That was after Jack Murphy.
Okay, yep. Well, that's...
thanks for dating.
Now we're on to Petco Park, too, yeah.
That was Petco Park.
Yeah. So I guess the only other ones I'm thinking for UConn football that we've been a part of in the 5 years since we took over coverage of that was... the Bounce House down at Central Florida. It's 40,000 seat stadium, so it's smaller on the college football spectrum. But because of how it was constructed,
do they fill it?
Yes, and it's all aluminum.
Oh,
so it's hollow. So it's hollow. It's called the Bounce House.
So noisy.
It's really. I mean, you feel like it's caving in on you. And then Michigan. So you've got the big house, 110,000 people. One of their newer traditions. They don't really have. A tradition per se, but going into the fourth quarter now, they sing Mr. Brightside. So newer song, The Killers, but still, anytime 100,000 people are singing the same song, especially when it's, something a little different, you don't expect to be hearing The Killers at a college football game. That was pretty neat, even though UConn lost by, a lot. They lost.
After 9/11 and going to Yankee Stadium and the God Bless America, when they sing that, and when it used to be that opera guy that would sing it. But my favorite thing, and I just had this when I was in Cincinnati a few weeks ago, the bald eagle that flies down onto the field. Yeah. It's just so awesome from center field to watch like this thing go, and then the guy, obviously lands on the guy's arm or girl's arm. But it's like, man, what if that thing just like took off and started like going after people?
I just thought of another one though. It came up is the Viking horn that
exactly
some celebrity horn comes out.
Yep.
Like Chris Carter is doing the video that I just found.
Oh, absolutely. Anything that's like that, I love that kind of stuff. I mean, I love it's Oklahoma that goes around with the covered wagon.
Yep.
And it flipped over a few years ago.
Boomer Sooner, they're going back and forth.
Thank God they didn't get hurt, but it was still, wow, that was unbelievable.
So with that question, I think the answer is that we keep coming back to college sports.
Yeah.
No,
there's a lot of it.
College sports.
It's college sports. Beautiful thing.
No, I mean, even the Braves after home runs, and they got rid of Chief Nakahoma, and I don't know who the female character was back in the 80s and 90s, but they used to shoot off a cannon that was so loud after a home run and scare the crap out of everybody in the stadium. I mean,
that is one of the things when I go down on the field and I'm doing sidelines at college football games, there are the schools, each of the schools have their ROTC on the field. So I do go up to them and just sort of say, hey, if you guys score a touchdown,
do you blow that?
I need to be prepared for something? Because if you're on that sideline, I don't know how the players don't jump. I mean, you've just given up a touchdown. You're probably thinking a million things, and then a cannon goes off behind you.
They shot me for giving up that touchdown. Anyway, when we come back, we'll do the daily pickle. Mets give it up. Red Sox losing extra innings again. We'll be right back.